Welcome back to the Twisted Worlds. It's nearly the end of Talis' adventure. We've got a good lead. Talis has a plan, and soon we shall come face to face with the killer. Before we begin, the roll of the dice is chaotic, but none more so than the algorithm. So be sure to like, subscribe, share the video, leave a comment. It's free to do so. And it supports the Twisted Worlds and any other videos I make. You'll be much appreciated. Anyways, let's get to it. Talis and Thalia, in the old assassin's hideout, have also stumbled upon a grisly sight. And yet, enlightening scene. A body of a woman, robbed of all defining features. At least a few months old. This tells Talis that not only is the killer a woman, but is someone who has integrated themselves into the city, quietly into the lives of their victims, and slaughtering without suspicion. Whoever the smiling killer is, they are as intelligent as they are bloodthirsty. Talis knows one thing, though. Whether a killer for hire or pleasure, both are fond of their own tools. If Talis can get the killer's weapon and an expert of weapons, she can easily pinpoint the killer. Okay. Examining the room, Talis issues an order to Thalia. Thalia, I need you to find me records of all who have moved to the city within the year, and all women. Ma'am, the killer has integrated themselves in the city. They took a place of someone who was supposed to come here. So they've been lurking in this city this whole time, and we haven't noticed. Getting ready to kill. What will you do, ma'am? I'm gonna try and find this killer. At the very least, get my hands on their weapon. Their weapon, ma'am? Find the weapon, we can figure out how they've been killing and what kind of killing they do. I see. Guards. Talis calls in a few of her guards into the room. Ma'am? They see the body and some of them rich. There are 5 doors. These will lead to escape routes that the killer can take, or secret entrances back in. I need each of you to go down one of these corridors. Tell me where they lead. Yes, ma'am. Talis moves with an alacrity. She knows for a fact. That something must be done. As Talis moves along the corridor of the hideout to the exit to the graveyard, she's unsure how to track down the killer. Trying to figure out who they are, she needs a weapon at least. Ugh. No one. Without a weapon, she cannot seem to figure out. She needs to narrow down her search greatly. When she knows where all the escape routes can lead, she can slightly narrow it down. Upon the list of people who have come into the city in the past year, even further. But if she can find a weapon, she can figure out quickly how or what can go through the city. As Talis is pondering that, something seems off. Out of the corner of her eye, she notices a hooded figure watching her. Talis turns the corner. A shadow follows her. The shadowy figure follows. Talis appears in the darkness behind them. As she readies her weapon, the killer has already drawn their weapon to her. Talis is shocked at the speed. The hooded figure's face is clouded. The only thing that can be seen is their smile. Their wide, toothy grin. Talis knows for a fact that this is the killer. Talis pulls out her weapon, faces the killer. The killer pulls out an identical blade to the one already drawn. With a smile on their face, they strike, rolling for an initiative. killer slashes at Talis. Talis narrowly dodges each strike. Talis retaliates with it. Retaliates. Manages to slice the killer's hand. Blood seeps out of it. The killer's hand goes numb, and the blade falls from their hand. They sheath their second weapon and go for the weapon. Talis intercepts the blade. Has her hands on it. Pulls it away. The toothy grin drops in a bit of shock. But then it widens even further than it was before. Their tongue slipping out of their mouth, licking across the wound. The killer bows and then vanishes into the dark before Talis can even give chase. They have disappeared. But Talis has gotten her hands on the murder weapon. Kind of blade that would perfectly fit all the brutal murders. However, she doesn't know the exact purpose of this kind of blade. All she knows is that it's a very fine blade that can cut the skin cleanly. She just needs an expert. She already has someone in mind. But she has to wait till the day. She returns to the barracks. Just sorting out something. Yeah. When she returns to the barracks, she sees Thalia going over records and accounts. And a few men going over a map. They all notice her. They rush forward. Ma'am, what is that? And a quick run-in with the killer. Managed to get their weapon. That's incredible. Yeah. Although it's scary. They're fast. Really fast. Damn. So, what now, ma'am? For now, have to wait till morning at the very earliest. Ma'am? When it's an appropriate time, I'm gonna call in for someone. Be on alert until then. Have your findings turned out anything? I got the list of all the people, of all the women that came into the city from the past year. We worked out all the locations that the hideout can lead to. Alright. Cross-reference all the people who've come in through the year with people who have access to these locations. Alright, ma'am. In the meantime, I need a bit of rest. Talis closes her eyes. Sits in the corner. Eyes closed. She goes back into her mind, thinking of the killer's face. For although she did not see anything, that haunting smile, that gruesome grin, will stay with Talis. She is concerned for what a deadly adversary she's up against. One that can move as quick or even faster than her. One as clever and sneaky as her. This is a killer. If Talis had become bloodthirsty, she would be looking in a close enough mirror. But whoever the killer is, she knows one thing. This is a far more dangerous foe that she's faced. Far more vicious than Marcella. Far more vicious than Varys. Morning comes. Talis is awakened with a smell. A smell of fresh food. She opens up her eyes. She sees Thalia and some men preparing a meal for her. One of them notices her, waking up. Ma'am, you got me food? Yes. Retired, we figured a good hearty meal would help you, well, Talis enjoys the meal. The warm food fills her belly. A pleasant rest and calm goes over her body. We've managed to narrow down everything on the list, and, well, to locations, and we didn't narrow it down as much as we'd thought we'd do, but it's enough. There's like 30 people that match all the descriptions. I see. Hopefully, we can figure out one more thing. We can narrow it down further today. Alright, ma'am. You said you had someone you wanted to call in? Yeah. Durden. The Dwarven blacksmith? Yeah. If he knows a thing about weapons, he'll know about the killer's weapon. Or at the very least, he's seen something similar. Aye, ma'am. Tell us how to fort. Have you checked the backgrounds on all the people in that list? Yeah. Some really strange business, some of them, but nothing too out of the ordinary. I see. A few moments later, half an hour later, Durden comes into the captain's office. Ma'am, I heard you need me. Yes, I need you to have a look at something. She holds out the blade. Well, let's have a gaze then, shall we? I've seen this blade before, or at least the kinds of it. Really now? Yeah. Young lady asked me to do maintenance on a few of these blades. How many? Like 20 of the things. That's a lot of blades. Well, they tend to be used for dissection and whatnot. Anyone would remember anything about the customer? Yes, actually. It's one of the sisters. Sisters? Yeah, I don't know which one, but it's one of the sisters of the church, you see. Yeah, the church uses these blades for fine cutting. It's how they exhume bodies and do autopsies with them. An autopsy blade. That that actually fits. I thought those cuts looked a bit familiar. Expertly cutting. One of the guards chimes in. One of the routes leads to an area by the church. And the sisters all show up in the within the year in the documents. Thank you, Jordan. You've helped us out hugely with this. Does this have to do with the goings-ons in the city? I can't confirm nor deny that, Durden. But it's best we have you escorted back to your blacksmithy. Aye. Good luck, lass. Durden leaves. The three sisters. Get me a background check on each of them. Yes, ma'am. With all the guards rapidly going over records, they've dug into the pasts of the three. We've worked it out, ma'am. Turns out Sister Marin is on the run. She's being accused of a murder in a far-off city. Sister Beatrice has also been known as a criminal in the past, a thief. Eileen's the only one who's clean. Spent 12 years in the mission, practicing her art. Came to us in good faith. So we should be looking for Maureen and Beatrice. Talis gets up from her seat. I now know who exactly the killer is. But we don't know if it was Eileen or... We don't know if it's Maureen or Beatrice. You're forgetting one thing, Thalia. Anyway, I need you all to do me a favor. Hopefully it doesn't come to it, but I'm pretty sure. Just in case things in the past have happened that requires this sort of preparation. Thalia salutes. I'll follow you to the end, ma'am. What is it you need us to do? Prepare the city's siege defenses. Ma'am? Prepare it inside the walls. I don't... you mean like the catapults and the ballistae? Yes. Point them within the city. Ma'am, I trust you, ma'am, but that just seems overly excessive and pointless. Trust me, if things go south, we really need those weapons. Alright, ma'am. You're going to the church now, aren't you, ma'am? Yeah. But the killer, I told you, I already know who the killer is. Talis walks. With the killer's weapon in hand. The sun fades. Night descends upon the city. She approaches this church. She takes a deep breath and walks in. Inside, she sees a grisly scene. Just as she fought. There's a number of blades strewn about the room. $18 in total. And 3 brutally murdered bodies. With smiles carved onto their faces. Talis looks to a lone woman kneeling in prayer in front of the desecrated altar. Talis knows there's no need to stealth. No need. The killer already knew she was coming. It was why. Talis throws the blade she has. You're missing one. Throws it to the killer. The woman's hands clasp in prayer. One moves to the blade. And holsts it in the missing sheath. And returns to the prayer. The killer always has a plan for murdering. Two wanted criminals in a church. The church is always willing to accept people who want to repent. So it makes sense that one of them would be a killer. But one really interesting fact occurs to me. Occurs to only those who really know the trade. The woman who's deprived of all defining features in the hideout. Why ceremoniously kill whole bunch of people, yet keep this one hidden. If you're going to assume a new identity in order to kill, don't make it something like a criminal. Make it as the most purest person you can find. Then alter the records. Replace their name with your own. Isn't that right, Eileen? The woman stands up from her prayer, turns towards Talis. There stands Eileen, the woman who was considered the purest, but by false credentials. I did sense a similar kinship with you when I first met you, Captain, but it didn't feel completely right. I could only assume who you were, but fighting you last night, I realized you were a killer as well, but not the same as me. Eileen looks back with her eyes closed and a gentle smile. Bloodshot eyes open from underneath the eyelids. A gruesome grin appears on her face. You have found your killer. The smiling killer. Eileen. Figured you'd killed Father Ignatius, Beatrice, and Mari. As soon as you figured out, I would have found out who you were. People are smart. Smart people can get in their own way. But a smart person with experience in the same field, that's someone you can't really hide from. Now then, shall we have a final conversation before our bloody rondo? As the blood-soaked woman pulls out the two daggers at her side, the two knives used in holy sacrament. She says with a bloodthirsty smile, she wants at least one conversation more with a fellow killer before they see which one is the superior. Talis takes a stance in preparation in case the killer fights in the middle. Talis has come face to face with the smiling killer, smiling Eileen. That's where we'll end it this time. You know what's happening next time. The big fight. I'll see you next time for the end of Talis' adventure in the Twisted Worlds.